This is Wealthy AF, your ultimate guide to understanding what it truly means to be wealthy. Today's guest is Zach Oehlman, and Zach was raised in an Indiana farm with big dreams and entrepreneurial spirit. Zach is a master transformation, a seasoned valuation consultant, and a visionary in real estate investing. Zach has built a robust community around the life cycle of entrepreneurship, from launching to scaling businesses and then reinvesting in real estate to foster sustainable wealth. I want to talk about that. As an expert in human behavior and personal development, Zach interlaces these insights with practical business strategies, making him a sought-after speaker for empowering and educating future leaders. Zach, sir, welcome, my brother. Appreciate you coming on here.
Thanks for having me, my friend. This is gonna be a fun conversation today.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about this. So tell us about this thing here that you're doing. You buy businesses, and then you take your profits and you invest them in real estate. Tell us about that. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing today. And I didn't start here. Back when I was growing up in Indiana, I wanted to make a lot of money. And I picked up a book by Peter Lynch. I started learning about financial markets, trading, stocks, and I wanted to do that. The challenge was I didn't have any of my own money. And so I went to college, went that traditional route, went to corporate America, and then got into real estate because I didn't have a whole lot of money. And then, once you get into real estate, you realize it is a business, right? You could call it whatever you want. At the end of the day, it's a business. You're either fix and flipping, wholesaling, or even, as you move to the cash flow component of it, it's still a business. And so we transitioned. I learned a lot from that, and then transitioned to actually buying businesses and starting them.
Beautiful. Today, I want to talk to you about financial freedom. What's your personal definition of financial freedom, Zach?
My personal definition of financial freedom. That's a great question. So I would say, we can use the very vague term of having your income cover your expenses, right? That would be a great generality. But I'm someone that's been traveling the world. I've been lived in 24 countries. I'm coming live from Colombia right now.
That's amazing, man. Where in Colombia?
Medellin.
Medellin, yes, I'm very familiar. I haven't been. My son spent a couple months there.
So I've spent the last 4 years living in 24 countries. And to me, you were asking how do you define wealth? And
financial freedom.
Right. But in the intro, right? And so there's there's this world of wealth and world of financial freedom. And I think they're two different things. Financial freedom is probably more on the balance sheet and income statement down to the numbers, right? What do the numbers say? And can you live that life that you want, right? Mm-hmm. So today I get to live the life that I want. I get to go on my motorcycle rides. I get to go traveling. I get to go do all of that stuff. And so I would say I'm financially free, right? I got money coming in. My bills are paid, and I get to, for the most part, do what I want, when I want, how I want. And,
dude, I love that, man. I freaking love that. Celebrate you for that, man. That's living, man. That's beautiful. Good for you, man. Yeah. I salute you and celebrate you, man. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. So you said you take your money and you deploy it into real estate. I'm also a real estate guy. I own a bunch of doors. Like you said, it's a business. It's a great business, but it's not what the social media internet world wants to tell you it is, right? Like literally, I own 150 doors today. I'm doing redeveloping a big project right now. We're wrapping it up. And every week I'm in a meeting with my property manager, literally weekly. For an hour every week, I'm getting an update: what's happening, who's paid, who's not, what's happening with my portfolio. And it's a business. I'm managing my business, right? I got to manage the property manager. There's a lot of online. You see people that, oh no, it's passive bullshit. It's not passive. It's not completely passive. There's some managing and there's some work that you have to be watching and you have to do. And you know that if you're an operator. Why real estate? Why did you choose real estate to create your financial freedom?
I chose it because of all the stuff on social media. Right? So when you're naive and you're like, you don't know, I was making $100,000+ working for one of the best companies in the world in financial consulting. I published author in the world of finance, very, very knowledgeable in that, but I didn't know how to quote unquote make money outside of, in the business world. And I didn't know how to raise money. I didn't know what starting a business or any of that meant, right? I was good with the numbers and I was good at my consulting gig. And so I got into real estate because of the general consensus that you can get into it with none of your own money, none of your own credit. And I just started putting one foot in front of the other. And what I've learned is it's a great way to store wealth and generate wealth, which is much different than being financially independent in my perspective, because I know a lot of people that have big balance sheets, right? They own a lot of properties, but they don't have the cash flow or the income to generate the lifestyle they want. And I think that's a big misconception that I've seen, because I have a community over 1,000 people. I have a daily call. I've been doing that for 8+ years with my team. And so I get to see a lot of perspectives. And one of the perspectives is that, oh, I'm going to buy rental real estate and my life's going to change. And, it's not the world of it. Like, you have to become worth more so that you can earn more, so that you can buy more. And I see these people come in and they don't understand that first part of it, of becoming worth more. And they try to go buy all these rentals with 100% leverage, and they just get decimated because they don't have cash management strategies. They don't have a rainy day fund. They don't have a budget, and they're just getting owned by their property and going backwards. And so I think it's an important, it's just like a recipe for anything. If you follow the recipe, you're going to get the result. But I think I'm a big advocate, and I love what you're doing here, is like, you're just being straight with people, right? And I think real estate is I can't find anything that can outperform it on a risk-adjusted basis, but it's not, you gotta go get the money to do it. And I think that's the message that I love sharing with people, is it is the best strategy to build long-term wealth. And in the short term, you got to get your income up.
There's so much there to unpack, Zach. So good, man. I was on a call with my mastermind group of guys. We meet every Wednesday. A few weeks ago, we were on this call, and so I have a house in Florida. I was in Florida. I'm in my house in Pennsylvania, in the mountain house right now as I record this. But we moved. So I moved to Florida recently, and so the market is different there, right?
Right.
It's a hot market, obviously. Although it's softening right now with what's happening with interest rates. So I'm talking to the guys, and I'm like, "Hey guys," and most of the guys, you probably are familiar with the group. It's a group of it's a tribe of millionaires, and everyone, to be part of the group, you have to have a certain net worth. So I'm talking to the guys, and I'm like, "Hey guys, I don't know what is going on in the marketplace right now. Did I miss something? Because I'm getting a lot of deals, and the deals that are coming through, they just don't cash flow, but they're still selling." And I'm like, how? What am I missing? Did I miss something? Is there a new strategy or some shit? Because I don't buy nothing. Like, what's going on, man?
Math changed.
Like the math ain't math to me, right? Exactly. I'm like, guys, what's going on? Like, I'm seeing these guys buy these properties. They're not cash flowing, but they're buying them for appreciation. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. It's just buying for appreciation only is not and in the meantime, I'm negative cash flowing is not a viable strategy, in my opinion. And so I was asking my peers that, and they were like, "No, dude." They don't know what they're doing, right? Like, everyone on the call was like, whoever's doing that doesn't know what the hell they're doing. You don't buy for freaking just to buy, like, unless you're going to redevelop it and you got a bigger plan in the mix.
Yeah, force it.
Yeah, you're going to force appreciate it, but still, this is not what's happening. We're talking about single family stuff, smaller stuff, right? This is not multi-family, larger stuff that you can really force appreciate. And it's like, no. But I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing some of that in certain markets. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying here unless I got the right deal. It just is what it is. It just is. It's just a math got a math. But you said something that's really, really important, which you said, worth more so you can earn more and you can create your cash flow. You said it not in those same words, but around those lines. I was on a call with one of my students, because I also coach, 2 days ago. And she goes, "Hey, I'm working with this kid. He's 20 years old. And he's got $3,000 or $4,000 more, and then I want him to. I had to advise him to give his money to you, so that he can invest in one of my deals." I said, "Absolutely not. I won't take his money. Number one, and number two, 20-year-old kid. What he needs to be doing with his money is investing it in himself, so he could get some skills and he could level up and he could work on his mindset." I was like, "That's the best investment a 20-year-old kid can do if he's got money. Just go show up to seminars, listen to podcasts, read your book." Go to, you know what I mean? Be around guys like us. That's what you should be doing. Not putting his money, because he's not getting better by doing that. But tell me, Zach, when you say worth more, Please unpack that with me.
Everything I'm sharing, I've had to learn myself. And so being someone that, went the traditional route to college, I have a degree in finance, published author in that world. And I'm like, how come I'm not rich yet? Right? I'm doing it. I got the finance degree. I'm a published author. I'm working for one of the best companies in the world. Where's this, money coming? And I remember I went into one of the partners and they said, Zach, you don't have enough gray hair to charge what you want yet. And I got it, right? Because we were doing $1 billion deals and, they want to sit across somebody with some experience. And I just started reading and reading. I've spent over $1 million on myself between trial and error, coaching, mentorship, development. And, when you're in it, you don't realize the value that you're creating until you sort of on the other side of it. And, today I get paid a lot of money for very little of time, but I've spent 20 years sharpening my axe in the world of finance, business, sales, and marketing. And I get people literally giving me half of their business for equity to bring my team in and my wisdom and all of that. And so I had this revelation one day. I love going on motorcycle rides. I love going out on hikes and, I go spend time with tribes and just sort of see the perspective of life through different eyes. And one day it hit me as like, the only way I'm going to make more is I have to learn how to do it. I have to go learn sales and marketing because I was a socially awkward young man that was afraid of the world. So I had to actually learn how to be social. I had to learn how to increase my emotional intelligence, my EQ. There's this great quote. It says 85 to 90% of your success is dependent on your EQ. IQ opens the door, right? But EQ gets you the type of money most of us are looking for. And so it's just like, well, if I don't know that, I can learn it. And like you said, it's about, there's so many phrases we hear, you're a product of the 5 people you hang around. Like you hear that. I heard that a long time ago, but today I understand it at a completely different level.
100.
And the other thing I've really learned is I can give $1,000 an hour advice, but if the receiver can only receive $25 an hour advice, then that's all it's worth to them. And I see that because I used to sell a very high end, it was $23,000+ just to join our masterminds. And I have a call every day and I'm supporting everyone. I was like, why are people not winning? And so I was like, okay, I would take it into my hands. I was like, well, how can I help them? How can I help them? How can I help them? And the reality is they're at where they're at. And I can't force, I'm just going to use some numbers here. I can't force a 5 to 10 year process in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like trying to cook a pizza in 20 seconds in a flash of 1,500 degrees. It's not. You have to cook it for 30 minutes at 325 degrees. You have to create the right environment for it to grow. And that's why today I give away all of my master classes for free, because I realize the importance of people having a place to go to grow. And everyone's at a different level. Some people might be in the proverbial second grade. Some people might be in the proverbial middle school, high school, college. It sounds like the people you hang out with are,
Mm-hmm.
I use college as an example, like PhD student level.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge is I see a lot of these people getting sold a PhD level caliber coaching program when they're in second grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they fail, is because they're just not ready for that deep end of the pool. And so I think one of the best ways to learn is to become an understudy of somebody, right? That's what I did. If I look back at what I did, I went and I paid somebody some money. I said, tell me what to do. He's like, read this book, show up to this, watch this class, make an offer. And when you get something that fits these parameters, bring it to me. And then we'll take it to second base. And I learned like that. And it took years. I'm still doing the same thing at just a much higher level. And so if you treat life like a lesson, everything is a lesson. That's how I view life. If you choose. Now, it takes a lot of mental horsepower to become present, to see the lessons and everything and not blame the world for what it gives you. And so that's, I know that there's a lot there, but
there is a ton. There is a ton there, man. I love what you said about the way you learned. I love what you said about you were trying to take a 20-year process and trying to cram it into 6 months or
Yeah, I
what.
mean, I've been going after it. I'm 38 years old, and I had the vision of, when I was 16 years old, I said, I want to travel the world. I want to help people. I want to make money. It was my mantra for the last 20 plus years. I had no idea how to do it. And I just started traveling the world 4 years ago. So it took me 16 years from the moment it was a thought until I actually did it. 16 years.
That's what I tell people, I was talking to my son yesterday, actually, here in my kitchen, and I said, hey, son, he's like, hey, I get a little frustrated sometimes because I want success. And I'm like, you're me. I know what you're going through. I remember what, oh, shit, how are you there? It's like, yeah, dude, I got 26 years on you.
Right.
I got 26 years. There's just no way. It's just time, right? I got 26 years. But what I will tell you is the future is bright. You're on the right track if you keep doing what you're doing. You keep reading the books and you keep showing up, right?
Yeah.
So I've heard a saying that overnight success happens over 20 years. Which when you wake up after 20 years, grinding and putting in the work and getting better and learning and taking your lessons, boom, like you 16 years, right? Or 18 years, you said, right? Boom, now you finally, hey, I'm traveling the world now.
I made it.
Yeah, 18 years in the making, baby. That, you know what I mean? It wasn't overnight. It wasn't microwave success, but yet people expect that in today's day and age. I believe a lot of that is because of social media. Like you said, you got enamored with real estate because of social media. A lot of it is because of social media. And the truth of the matter is that it takes time. Financial freedom takes time. Financial freedom, if you're going to build a house, you got to build the foundation first, and you got to make sure those foundation blocks are strong, and so that you can put up a nice big building and it can sustain itself. I was having a conversation with my son again, Zach, and I was like, he's like, oh, but you see these kids, 22 years old, right? Ferraris, you see them on social media, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ferraris, and all that. And I'm like, yeah, I see them. Here's a challenge, man. Today I'm 45 years old, and here's what I will tell you. Also, keeping your money is another skill.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. So, I mean, I'm like, anybody could be financially free if they just manage their money. And so I'm a big finance guy. That's what I was trained in corporate. And so I've created my own software for budgeting and everything I use with my clients. And I meet with people that could retire. Literally, they could retire today. But they don't know it because they don't have their finances in order. And then I talk to other people, I'm like, you make great money, but you spend it all. And if you would just, I believe anybody can live, and I use this word retirement, even though I don't believe it exists, because what are you going to do with your life, right? It's like you're going to stop doing one thing to do something else. But I'm going to use that word retirement in 5 years or less. If you were intentional, took personal responsibility, and got your finances in order today. And I use the example of if you spent the next year learning a skill set, didn't charge anything for it. You spent the next year learning a skill set. You spent the second year learning how to sell that skill set. And then the third year, you sold 3 monthly subscriptions for $97. By the end of that 5th year, you'd have 10 grand a month coming in residual income. And that's a very, very simplistic math.
Very easy, yeah.
But no one wants to do it. They want it now. And so they spend their whole life trying to get it now. They would just create a plan, create a budget. I call it frameworks. I'm a big framework guy. Follow the framework, like you said, to your son. You're going in the right direction, son. Right? Mm-hmm. And, he's becoming worth more and understanding what it means to make money. And then at the end of 5 years, you'd be making 10, 20 grand. There's not one listener on here that got their butt in gear and created a plan and a budget that couldn't do that.
Yeah. Like you said, the challenge is that everyone wants microwave success. I believe that one of the biggest differences, and I keep repeating this to you guys on this podcast, like a freaking keep beating it like a dead horse, man, is, hey guys, the biggest differences between wealthy people and poor people is that rich people know how to delay gratitude. They know how to delay gratification. They know how to delay gratification for later. They're constantly thinking about what can I do today to make tomorrow better. And it wasn't until I came to grips with that, Zach, like, hey, I was also in the financial services business. I used to sell life insurance for 15 years. And I woke up, I was sharing this with my son. I woke up one day and I was like, holy shit, if I keep doing this, I was making good money, 6 figures. But if I keep doing this, I'm not getting rich. I'm going to get the same results. I'm going to wake up one day, be 60, 65, 70 years old, and I'm going to be broke. And this is not the way. I have to start learning a new skill so that I can create wealth, so that I can have assets, so that I can, and I started doing that. And I started exactly that. I was like, if I do the same thing, I'm going to sacrifice now. I don't care if I'm going to stay up later and study. I'm going to pay for coaching. I'm going to pay for mentoring. I'm going to start going to events. It was hard. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy raising bringing up a family on one income commission. You know, that's a commission job, right?
Totally. I mean, we earn it every day. We kill it, man.
Yeah, you got to eat what you kill, right? It's a commission job when you're in the financial services, right? So commission job. I did that for 15 years, supported my family, and I had to. It was like, hey, I gotta create. I gotta get out of this. This is not where I want to be. I wasn't happy anyway.
Right.
And it was a grind, right? It was a grind in the sense that I would stay up later, learning, going to events, and at the same time selling insurance, while I was building and getting to financial freedom.
Yeah, your promotion, your marketing, your operations, you're the wholeness of it.
Yeah, you're actually living in the city. So I told my wife the other day, I was like, honey, we have this beautiful home in Florida. I was like, maybe we sell this in a year or 2 or 3 or 4, I don't know. I was like, maybe we'll sell this. And we come to this house. We're in our mountain house, and it's a smaller house, our second home. And instead, what we could do is we could go live in different countries, experience. I'm big on culture, right? I'm really big on culture. I love what you're doing, brother. I really love it, man. I really, really love what you're doing. I was like, I love culture. I love people. I love learning from people in different cultures. And I was like, babe, we could just pick up. We could do it if we wanted to now. But that's part of my vision, right? Part of my vision is I have a number in my head though, as well, where
I mean,
I'm an achiever. I have a number in my head. I want to hit this number and I want it all.
And then you're going to get there. And then you're going to get there like many of us have gotten. And then you're going to be like, I remember I was sitting in Dominican Republic.
That's where I'm from. My family.
Okay. I love we loved it there. And so I'm sitting there in Dominican Republic, this is a couple of years ago. We've been traveling and living everything I wanted, traveling the world, helping people and making money. And I get on the call with my coach. She goes, what's wrong? And there was just like this experience of life, like, now what? Right? And, what we got to was like, oh, Zach, you quit asking what's next.
Yeah.
And, and so I achieved graduated top of my class in college, got a job working for one of the best companies in the world, accolade, goal achieved. And then it's like, you really learn the expression, it's enjoy the journey, not the destination.
Yes. Yeah.
So what I've done is I've just created a big enough why in my life that will never be satisfied. And that's my life's purpose. And my purpose is to empower people to live an amazing life in all aspects of their life. And it starts with me first, because if I'm not a living testament of what I'm preaching, teaching, and so it really holds me accountable. And so I have a coaching call twice a week. I mean, I just got off it right before this podcast, and I want to make sure I'm empowered. I want to make sure I'm living a fulfilled life. I want to make sure that I'm stretching myself and growing and doing all of that. And so I know you were sort of leading to a question, and so help me understand, what's the question for the people listening? You were saying,
it's interesting. It's interesting. What advice? But I want to just share this with you because it's really resonating with me. Interesting what you just said about your purpose. So my purpose is to empower others to be the best version of themselves, as well as be the best version of myself. Right. So like our purpose is very, very in alignment. Right. And again, I am a big believer in that. Like I teach, but I also have a coach, right? I also have someone that holds me accountable and is helping me get to the next level and calls me on my bullshit, right? Because sometimes I'm like,
I tell people, I said, I have to pay people to be honest with them. So, they're stuck in the nice bucket.
Yes.
And nice doesn't, of course we don't want to be a-holes, but like, I say you can be straight, like very concise, and have compassion.
Yeah. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Right. And so that's, I think, but that takes a lot of skill, right?
Yeah. And that's what I do with my students, right? That's what I do with my coaching students. I call them on their crap and I still show them love. I do that with my employees and my team. I told one of my employees this my editor, actually, he's going to edit this podcast. So you remember this conversation when you're editing this podcast. That, hey, man, where's my creator? Where's my creative guy that I hired? Where is he's gone? What's going on?
Of course.
Yeah, where is he? And we had a real tough conversation. I was real straight with him. And I said, and at the end, I told him, and I still love you, man. And I still love you, and I'm still grateful for everything you do. And I want that guy back. I need that fire back. Do I need to bring someone in here to kick your ass? They show you up, right? I had to tough with love, right? But I love him, and he knows I love him, and I care about him. One thing they tell me, all my team is like, man, we love that about you, that you're just direct. We know where we stand every time. We just know.
Right. And I think that people have confused that, because all great people have coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And the coaches are there to get you to where you
Want to be.
Said you wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get you where I think you should be. That would not be a quarter. That would be a
not appropriate.
A dictator. That would be irresponsible as a coach. Right?
Yes, sir.
That'd be manipulative. And so it's like, where do you want to be? And then let me help you get there. And then the challenge is then people argue with you, right? It's like, go. It's like if you were a football coach and you say, go run 20 laps, either you run 20 laps or you're off the team.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the world of entrepreneurship, real estate, wholesaling, whatever you want to call it, it's like, go make 100 phone calls and everything else is an excuse. Like, that's the reps.
100%, man.
Put in the reps. Because I'm still doing it. It never changes. It's just
the basics are the basics, man. The only difference now for me is that I have someone else. I pay someone to do it for me than from when I started, and now I hold them accountable to it.
Right. So you're you got someone else over there repping, but you're lifting a bigger weight called
the money.
Properties.
Yeah, dude. I got 700,000. I'm dropping into a freaking 12-unit redevelopment right now. Like, I'm dealing with that.
Bigger conversation.
Yeah, like
greeting somebody at the front door.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but I still have the basics going, right? I still employed the basic. Hey, the basics have to continue to go on, right? Because the basics is what gets this deal flow coming through the pipeline, right? Is what keeps the deal flow going when we're done with that deal.